Hi everyone, Stephanie Giannini from IVATI, and on today's episode of IVATI Inspires, we are going to be talking about confidence and how it relates to leadership. Confidence is really important in essentially everything we do. We can say different things, we can do different things, we can mean different things, but if we don't do everything with confidence, then how it is perceived or our results, the outcomes, may not be what we had intended or what we had hoped for. Confidence is such a mind game sometimes. We really have to oftentimes trick ourselves in order to feel confident. Yes, there are people who are naturally very confident people, and we know those people. And that's kind of the point. We can see somebody, it's wow, they're so confident in themselves, or they seem like they can do anything they set their mind to. And that's because they believe in themselves. They have confidence in their abilities. I am not somebody who was naturally confident. It's something I had to build in myself, and it's something I'm continually to work on. And I think everyone struggles with confidence in some parts of their lives. We may often see people who seem really confident, but they're only doing things they're confident in. Or we may see people who are on that cusp where their confidence almost becomes arrogance or cockiness, as most people feel. That's a huge turnoff. Not the most attractive quality, at least in my opinion. When I see that kind of confidence, I don't believe that's real confident. That type of aura is very much an insecurity trying to display itself as confidence to cover up the insecurity. But we'll go into that a little bit later in this video. How do we figure out if our confidence is true? To start is asking ourselves, how do we feel about ourselves? How do we feel about our abilities? How do we feel when we're doing something? Are we constantly questioning ourselves? Are we suffering from imposter syndrome where you feel as though you're almost like a phony? I know sometimes I feel imposter syndrome just doing IVATI. You feel like you're never qualified enough. You feel as though you shouldn't be the one speaking on this topic. You shouldn't be doing it. Now you're fooling everyone around you. You've convinced them that you're something you're not, even though you are. You are an expert in what you do. If you are doing something of good quality, you're a good person, you are smart, you are creative, innovative, you need to also believe that in yourself. But with imposter syndrome, you feel like you're being a phony. Start off by asking yourself, what do you feel confident in? What do you not feel confident in? Now, how do we build confidence? A lot of this, I think, stems from understanding where insecurities come from. And a lot of that, I believe, comes from our childhood, from past failures. We're not always taught the best ways to cope with failure. We're not always taught the best ways to not let obstacles and setbacks hinder the way we view ourselves. One, understanding where our insecurities come from. Two, how to let go of the past. That's a huge part of confidence, is being able to let go of those moments that made you feel small, those moments that made you feel less than, which I know is probably the hardest part. Telling yourself that you need to be confident. There's a lot to be said about self-positive affirmations. There's a lot to be said about faking it till you become it, because your brain is so the smartest organ of your body. It is the smartest piece that you have. It is so complex, but it really picks up on everything you're feeding it. We are receiving information, our brains are, at rapid speed. So much information that we really have to filter things out. That's what the brain does, because it's too much at once. What we need to do is make sure and check in with ourselves. What are we feeding ourselves, our brain? Are we constantly talking down to ourselves? Are we constantly comparing ourselves to other people, constantly telling ourselves why things won't work and why we can't do what we do? If you are telling yourself those things, even if you try to act like this big confident person, it's not gonna show up as genuine, and people are gonna notice it. You're not gonna say things with confidence. You're not gonna have the body language of confidence. You're saying things because you know you should say it and you wanna come off a certain way, but you don't have true confidence. And that takes time. It takes time to build confidence, especially when you're leading people. Not only leading yourself, when you're leading others. If you aren't confident in what you're saying, how do you expect people to trust you, to believe in you, to wanna follow you on the path that you're going? I mean, I know I would. If we had a leader of our country, a leader of our state, a leader of an organization, if we had somebody who was like, I have an idea and I think we should do this, but I think it's a good idea. There should be some benefits. Are we gonna vote for that? Are we going to believe in that? Most likely not. How are we supposed to believe in somebody who doesn't believe in themselves? Another point I really wanna talk about is the fake confidence, because I see it all the time. People have a misunderstanding of what confidence is. It's not always saying that you're the best at something. It's not It's not being arrogant. It's not being aggressive. It's not having to put yourself out there so people take you seriously, because people see through it. There are some people who are more introverted, maybe more quiet, keep to themselves, who I look at and I just know, wow, they have such confidence in themselves because they don't need to put on a show. They're confident in who they are. They're confident in where they're at, and they're confident in their strengths and their weaknesses, and they know themselves inside and out. It doesn't mean that you stand in front of everyone and say, I'm gonna be the leader, I'm in charge because I know that. I'm the best at this because I know that. Yes, you may wanna tell yourself that behind the scenes, but you don't need to tell everybody else that. True confidence is something that people see. It's not something that they need to hear. Let's say you're on a date. Okay, I give a speech on confidence relating to my brother. And I'll never forget, he told me a story of this girl who he went on a date and she just kept saying, I'm just so loyal. I'm just such a loyal person. And the moment I heard that, I responded to my brother and said, yep, she's not loyal. And the reason I say that is because if somebody needs to say something enough, then it's obviously not true. Who says I am such a good person? I am so nice. You don't need to tell people that. If you really are that, people will notice that. People who may come off a little bit more arrogant or sometimes a little too competitive, when I look at that, I see insecurity. I don't see true confidence. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is not a billboard that says I'm the best at this and I know it. It's just an aura about yourself, and it's something we definitely have to work on. Especially if you really struggle with your confidence, it's not like you're gonna close this video and be the most confident person in the world. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is to understand that when I say fake it to become it, it's really carrying yourself in a way that feels like who you want to be. You want to be confident. That also is not me telling you that you need to be cocky, arrogant, very blunt, that you need to be so direct that you turn people off. When I say fake it to become it, I say when you are by yourself, you're telling yourself, I have got this. I'm going to get this opportunity, and if I don't get this opportunity, I know I'm gonna learn from it. I know I'm gonna get better from my mistakes. I know I can overcome this. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. It's not what you say or do, it's how you say things and how you do things. The last point I want to make is competitiveness. I had mentioned it a little bit earlier. One thing that I know is people who try to come off so confident, and I don't believe it's true, or at least it's not to the extent of which they're showing, is people who have to make everything a competition, who can never just say, yeah, I'm really good at this. They have to say, I'm better at blah, blah, blah than this. I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm more successful, I'm more intellectual, I'm nicer, I'm prettier. If you need to always have somebody to compare to, that is not true confidence. Because the moment that comparison's taken away, then who are you? Do you have the confidence if you don't have somebody to look down on? Do you have the confidence if you don't have somebody to be better than? Yes, competition's very important. It's what drives a lot of human nature. However, if you always need to be in a competition and feel as though that you're the best, in my opinion, you don't have true confidence. You have insecurity. You always need to be winning. You always need to be better than somebody. You can't just be great at who you are. You can't just be as is. You always need that other component to compare yourself to and be better than. So I really challenge people who tend to be naturally competitive. Look, there's a time and a place, trust me. I was never great at sports because I'm not a competitive person. However, I am competitive in certain aspects of my life because wanting to strive to be better by looking at others who I think are more skilled than me, who are where I want to be, that really drives me. That helps me to always improve upon myself and be skillful. But I really encourage people who try to make everything as a competition to realize, does it need to be a competition? And why is it a competition? Why are you always looking towards somebody else to be better than? Are you being a quote unquote hater? Are you not confident enough in yourself that you can't just be really content with how you are as a person? Or you can't improve yourself and push yourself without having somebody else as your motivation. Sometimes we just need to be internally motivated to create our own confidence, to be better, to become confident in areas we're not naturally confident in. I always use the example, it's very much like bullies. Bullies bully other people or other children. It's typically, well, there's adult bullies. People are mean to other people for no reason because they feel bad about themselves, and it helps them to feel better in that moment by putting someone else down. So My last piece of advice is to just stop with the competition and the comparisons. Like I said, there is a time and place. Know when it is the right time to be competitive. Know when it is the right time to look to others for inspiration, for motivation. But don't look to others to make yourself feel good about yourself, to make yourself feel valuable, that you are adequate. Because those outside factors come and go. But the only thing that is constant is yourself. With that being said, I appreciate you listening to this episode of IVATI Inspires. Per usual, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my Instagram page, visit my website to learn more about me. Till next time.